Okay, welcome to my tech demo of Portcullis, the suite of products, both physical and digital, that aim to make running virtual D&D easier, more effective, and ultimately more fun. So, when it loads in, the first thing we'll see is these three different camera sources. This is the big buy it feature. The feature that basically bridges the gap between the virtual and the physical. So the software should correctly identify the sources and the roles for the cameras. However, if it fails to do so, or there's a bug or something goes wrong, you can just change it yourself with these drop-down menus. However, here it's all working perfectly, so we can move on to our session notes. So these are designed to just be a quick reference notes for game masters. I have it broken up into the three pillars of play, that being social, exploration, and combat. So for this example, we'll go ahead and edit a social encounter. We can just start typing into this dialog box and click Save As. We can name it and then save or cancel. In this case, we will cancel and we'll just view an existing one. Okay, let's see the Night of Culls. Hit refresh. And here we have just an entry on the Night of Culls. What's inside this dialog box isn't super important. The important thing is it's in the game master's own voice. So they'll be very familiar with it, they'll know how it works, and they'll just be able to quickly look at these just to kind of spur their imagination in the middle of the session. Okay, so we like the look of this. We'll hit save. And then we'll go ahead and design an encounter planner for the for the combat pillar of play. So once again, we have saved encounters here that we could edit if we wish. However, for this example, we're going to create a new one. So just kind of funneling people in with the easier questions. They're going to know what kind of encounter difficulty they want. In this case, we'll say deadly. They'll know the number in the party, in this case 4, and they'll know the level of the party as well, once again 4. Oh, there we go. So next is terrain type. So this is this is outside the normal rules. This is something that I'm adding in, so it's an optional thing if game masters want it. But here you can select where the fight is happening. Let's say it's a forest in this case, and we can hit load table, and then we have a dice chart here, which basically means you can roll a 6-sided dice, a d6. To determine what kind of random weather effect will be applied to this combat. This basically allows a game master to run the same combat twice, but it could be wildly different depending on these effects. Okay, so we like the look of things so far. Let's just save our progress as we're going along. Next we have the opponent type. So 5th edition doesn't actually break down these roles into break down monsters into these roles. However, I thought that it would be a good idea just to make managing it more straightforward. There's tooltips here to kind of describe what these do, and like all the language that's being used here is aimed to be familiar to someone from a traditional kind of, well, not traditional, but a video gaming background. And my research identified that there's a big market for that. So let's say we want a soldier. Probably good to have a backline as well. We want artillery. And we know that it's a deadly encounter, so let's add a leader in as well. Then finally there are seed monsters. So if we just hit load stat blocks, it would just be a random grab bag of, you could have an angel and a devil fighting on the same side, which could either be very interesting or make no sense whatsoever. In this case, though, we know it's a goblin attack, so we're going to select the goblinoid creature type and hit load stat blocks, so that all of the creatures here are going to have that goblinoid subtype. So here we have the leader, we have the stat block. These stat blocks are available under the Open Gaming license, so they're free to use for community members to make their own content for the game. But what is written on the side here is part of this product that's exclusive to this product, that basically gives people a template for how to actually interact and use these abilities in a more engaging way that makes more sense. So here we can see that there's the number of them and the role type associated. And so the number of creatures is based on the number of party members. If the party is outnumbered, it's going to be a more deadly encounter. So here there's a total of 6 enemy monsters, and there's only 4 players, so it's definitely going to be a deadly encounter. Okay, we like the look of that. Let's click save. And once we're there, we're going to go ahead and launch a session. So here we have basically our library of different encounters and session notes, so that we're not going to be overwhelmed by all these different options when we're in the middle of running the game. So here we're going to load in the goblin attack encounter we just made, and we'll also add in the Knight of Coals notes. And then we can launch the session. This will bring out a pop-out window similar to Microsoft Teams. And there's a sidebar here where the game master can view all of their notes, and they can go through their stat blocks, have a look at those, where we have all of the information that we read over in the encounter planner. And then when we are good to go, we can go ahead and launch the combat. So this will automatically open the video source for the battle map, where the game master can go ahead and manage the all these tiles and minis themselves with the physical side of the product. However, focusing on the digital, the last big feature here is real-time dice rolling, where instead of rolling a virtual dice by typing in /roll 1d6, which is no fun, you can click a button on the physical product, and your camera feed will change to a dice roll. So everyone can see it, that will be live in real time, and just kind of create that excitement again, bridging the gap between the physical and digital.